What is up, everybody? Happy Monday. It's my buddy Paul. I'm Matt. We're just coming in from fishing on Lake Ontario, Oneida Lake. We said on our way out this morning, it's flat calm. Has been since we left the dock at 5:30. Flat calm, and we made the joke that this lake is like a woman. Everybody calls her Lady O. It's like a woman out there who's either bipolar or non-committal, and it just can't figure out what it wants to do. It's like anybody out there that's married. Go ask your wife where she wants to go for dinner. She'd be like, I don't know, wherever you want to go. Well, that's what this lake does lately. It's whatever which way the wind blows. It can blow as hard as it wants, from any direction it wants. It just, you never seem to quite know what you're going to get. And today we got nothing. We got out there and we made the old Chris Farley joke from Tommy Boy. Need a little wind here. It is that guy. That low we saw earlier. Yeah. Sorry, we had a little side note here. So yeah, we went out. It was flat calm. We put the live scope down. We put the trolling motor down. We really finessed fish today. You started out with a blade. Did you do anything on it? I don't think so.
No, nothing.
I started out with a small swim bait because it was flat calm. We were just sitting there, and we had fish on the screen, and I'm pretty sure what we're seeing out there is mayfly nymph clouds throughout the water column. We saw them on live scope today while we were sitting still, and they were undulating and moving. I don't think it's bait fish. I put my underwater camera down yesterday briefly, and again, I don't know how big these nymph larvae are, but I'm thinking they're about an inch long. I didn't see them on the underwater camera yesterday, and when I was going through a pile of them. So I think I ruled out that they were bait fish, and I think they're bugs. So we started, like I say, we started our normal. Well, Paul started jigging right away. I started throwing a small swim bait, thinking if they were bugs, maybe we could get them to go on something that looked a little more bug-like or was going through the water column. We ended up, both of us, going to Northland Fireball jig, the short shank jig, and tipping it with half a crawler. You fished a bucktail and a worm for a while.
That was the first fish I caught.
Yes.
That was fun though.
And we were, so Paul didn't fish the old days on Oneida where it was just really the only thing you did was you slow drug or really slow hopped a bucktail and a worm. Today was very, very much like that, and I said that to him. Even once we went to just the jig and a worm, it was we weren't moving it much more than about 6 inches off the bottom every time like this. We weren't bass fishing. I told him, I said the old guys growing up at the gun club at Toad Harbor would say if you raised your jig, your bucktail more than 6 inches off the bottom, you were a bass fisherman. And they weren't saying that with, like that was a good thing. That was a bad thing. To them, a bass fisherman was the Antichrist. And if you were fishing aggressively like that, there was no self-respecting walleye that was going to eat it. Now, we know that that's changed, and we know that the world of snap jigging and reaction bites is a very real thing. Matter of fact, we talked about it at length this morning, how we went by another boat. It was flat calm. We went by another boat, and they were snapping. Now, a day like today, we caught a bunch of fish today. I don't even know, did we get any keepers?
No. Perch. Good, nice size perch.
We caught some good perch. We caught a bunch of perch that were bigger than some of the walleyes we caught. Our walleyes went from about 6 inches to 13 maybe, and then we caught a fair amount of them. We caught a couple big pumpkin seeds, and we caught some big perch. But we were really finesse fishing those jigs. Matter of fact, we were both fishing that light. It was a 1/4 ounce Fireball jig, short shank, half a worm on it, and we were both fishing it on our ultralight rods, our swim bait rods. And it really worked well. That JT Panhandler 7 foot, when you still feel everything. but we didn't feel any kind of distinct take on any of those fish we caught. I had one sunfish that you could feel him pecking at it. Everything else was when you lifted that jig back off the bottom, there was just weight, and so it wasn't fast and furious, and we fished 3 or 4 spots within the same general area. Again, there was 0 drift this morning. We ended up letting the trolling motor pull us at about half a mile an hour slowly, but until we get our next wind event, I don't know that these fish are going to group back up. That being said, listen, there's guys out there smoking them right now. I haven't been one of them lately. You guys fished all day yesterday, and you ended up with 7 keepers.
7 keepers. But I was snap jigging yesterday. With a moonshine,
and we had a little bit better of a drift yesterday. Certainly in the morning, we had more drift than we could have wanted. And even by the time we left, we still had a good drift. Today, we had none. So, listen, every day's different. If we had 6 more hours and a full tank of gas to stay out there, I'm sure our morning report would be vastly different. Part of it is we have during the week, and we stayed out late this morning. It's 10:30. We left the dock at 5:30. Most mornings during the week, Monday through Friday, I've got 2 to 3 hours. So in that short a time span, ask the guys that fish walleye Wednesdays, and that's a 3-hour derby at night. 3 hours isn't a lot of time. You got to almost land on them. You might have time for one move, and you got to figure them out quick. That's not a lot of time. Some days we land right on them, and there'll be days where that'll happen. I'm waiting for a breakout day myself. I struggled in May. I didn't find the normal fish I was looking for in the normal spots. So I'm ready. I am ready for a breakout day. But that being said, today was fun. We set the hook quite a few times. Quite a lot, actually. We caught a bunch of perch and sunnies, and then a lot of short walleyes. It was still nice. It was so quiet. It was so still, and we really finesse fished all day, which normally we don't do. Normally we're pretty aggressive with moving baits and snap jigging stuff. But today we were able to do something different. And listen, with all the walleyes we caught, if they'd have been a better year class, we'd have had our limit, no problem.
Absolutely.
So you can't necessarily quantify what's going to bite. So that's how we started our Monday. I hope your Monday's great. You can't have a great week unless your Monday's great.
My
So
Monday was great.
start it off. Thanks, brother. Keep your tip up.